you happen to know if he'd be under someone else? What's his name?
Anton?
Oh, yeah. So they're separate. Sorry, they're really...
Rookie tournaments serve as a valuable resource for team staffs and fans alike to get an idea for what the future holds for their club. Who's the next star? Who's the next superstar even? A lot of times that's first found out here at these rookie tournaments where they're competing against each other and competing against other NHL top prospects and standing out and making a name for themselves.
I want to be great, and I want to help out. I want to just be a key contributor on the team, and I tell myself that every day. I tell myself that every time I'm on the ice. I want to help out offensively. I want to be the guy shutting down the other team defensively. That's just kind of the way I'm instilled. So that's I've kind of told my dad this year, like, my goal isn't just to make the NHL, it's to excel in the NHL. So that's where my head's at, and that's what I want to do. So that's how I feel coming into this season.
All right, so let's get into my top 5 performers. At number 5, I have huge forward Caleb Lawrence, who certainly is not shy to throw his weight around, get into scraps, but showed very promising skills as well. At number 4, I have a camp invite, Parker Berg. Parker looked exceptional quarterbacking the power play and also had some good hits and some good physical play to go along with that. At number 3, another defenseman, Cole Krieger, a lot like Parker Berg, really showed two-way capability. He had a great rush and setup to his Ontario teammate Frankie Pinelli in the Kings and Ducks game. Big game tonight. You made some good plays offensively and defensively. How'd you feel overall out there?
I felt good. I felt like the first period got my legs into it, kind of winding back up. I think this style of hockey is a little bit different. You're going to have to anticipate turnovers. You're going to have to be in the right position. So a couple times I felt like I was outside the dots, just trying to get inside. And then as the game went on, I just felt like ice opened up. I had room to skate. There was a few times where I had manned it when I had to, but I felt more comfortable skating it up, so that was good.
And last season you got your first full pro season in. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think there was ups and downs. There was a lot of learning. As you come into a new league, new competition, new teams, new guys you never played against before, I think just having that behind me and then learning from my past mistakes and just allowing myself to be free and not think about everything so much, I think that was a big part of it too. Just coming out, being ready, do what I need to do during the week, and then when the games come, just go through and play.
And is there anything particular you focused on this off season?
Yeah, I shot a lot of pucks. That was the biggest thing. I felt like I wasn't getting pucks through. I felt like I was getting shots blocked, and then just in tight, like missing the net. Even from if I had a grade A, just missing the net last year. So I felt like shot pucks a lot. Conditioning was good, and just did my normal strength program. So
at number 2, and I'm sure a lot of people might have him at number 1 actually, Eric Portillo just looked absolutely near perfect, just calm, collected, and really looked like a guy who's ready to take it.
Any changes for you going into your second pro year, maybe expecting to kind of lead the way in Ontario as opposed to last year as a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm coming in with a humble mindset and just trying to do my best. But as you said, I think this is my second year, so it's time to level up and keep building on what we did last year.
At number 1, he was right there with Eric Portillo, but Carter George. George is a few years younger than Portillo, which makes his performance even more impressive to me. But Carter George was just absolutely phenomenal in net, and to be honest, that George and Portillo sort of prospect tandem just, it reminds some fans of the Bernier Quick days, and I think rightfully so. It's pretty exciting what the Kings have going on in net for the foreseeable future. first and foremost would like to thank the Los Angeles Kings Communications Department and staff for putting on a great production with the Rookie Faceoff. The quality and interest in these rookie tournaments have skyrocketed in the past few years, which is really great to see, especially for California hockey. Hey guys, I'm here with former Los Angeles Kings Sean O'Donnell, who now works in player development. Sean, so basically what I wanted to ask you is, what is player development? What is your role in that?
Well, what we do is once a player becomes a member of the Kings, we kind of keep an eye on them until they turn pro, whether it's Europe or the Canadian League or USHL, American College, whatever it is. We kind of try and ingrain in them what it is to be a King and hopefully shorten the learning curve a little bit. So when they turn pro, they kind of already have some details and basics of what we expect from them when they turn pro.
And how closely does the development staff work with the scouting staff, for example?
Not very, a little bit. You know, the scouting staff have a very difficult job when they go out there and they look at all these players, and you know, it's very difficult how many guys they have to look at. And then once they become kind of part of the Kings family, that's when we take over, because the scouts are now going to look at the next crop coming up. So we kind of take over and again try and just work on them with their game and individual stuff on different ways to make themselves better. So when they do turn pro, they're not starting from scratch. They have a little bit of an idea of kind of what we expect from our players on and off the ice.
All right, thank you, Sean. Okay. On the ice, and I suppose on paper, this was a pretty interesting tournament from the Kings' perspective, being this crop of prospects were a lot more on the bigger, more physical side, which hasn't really been the Kings' MO since the Dean Lombardi era. Is Rob Blake and his staff beginning to embrace a little more of the old school, through and not around hockey? I'll leave you with this interview with LA Kings Director of Scouting, Mark Yannetti, where I ask if there's anything to it. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, I'm here with Director of Scouting, Mark Yannetti. Mark, one thing I really wanted to ask is, the Kings have now solidified themselves as a playoff team the last 2 years. Out of the rebuild, does that change anything as far as draft philosophy, or is it still the same drafting best player available?
Draft philosophy doesn't change. It's still the best player available. It's just draft positioning changes. So the odds of getting that, I mean, you're not going to get a Celebrini, you're not going to get a Byfield. You know, you have to. You can be less focused. You can't be as focused. Like when we're picking 8, we're looking at 2 defensemen and 2 forwards. When we're picking 2, we're looking at 4 players. You know, so when we're picking, you know, you start moving back this year to 21 and then 26, we move back. Well, now you're looking at 10 to 12 players. You know, you have an idea of who's going to be there, but you can't be as focused with your scouting. So the philosophy doesn't change, but the implementation and the way you do it and the breadth of your focus changes.
Okay, and it seems, and I could be totally wrong here, it seems size was almost a little bit reintroduced into the draft, this last draft. You know, Greentree being the first rounder, bit of a big guy. It seemed a little bit like size was reintroduced for the first time. Is there anything to that, or is it kind of still the same philosophy?
I mean, if you can get the same level player with size as opposed to not size, you want size. I mean, it's no brainer. It's a lot of times circumstance. Like if you looked at the list going through the last 10 years, the guy we drafted at 6 feet, on either side of him could be 6'2" and 6'3", or you know. So we never went away from size. We did with Rob. We did transition to a little bit more of a skill-based and speed-based philosophy, just to simplify it. But as I said, very easily, you know, in the second round, if one guy goes, now you're picking a bigger guy. So a little bit circumstance, a little bit change. Just I don't want to say change in philosophy, tweak in philosophy, because it's much smaller. But those 2 things played into it.
If you haven't seen any of Mark's interviews on previous drafts, go watch them. Very thorough, very well done. Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Good enough.